and you keep coming for more, I'm gonna tell you something. If after this video you continue on this journey, you're crazy. I'm telling you, you're crazy. No, just kidding. We're here to make this happen. Let's go. It's time to continue because we have to do a lot of things in the NFT marketplace. The last video we covered the marketplace Resell Smart Contract. This is a smart contract that is going to allow users holding existing NFTs from a collection to list those NFTs for sale in the marketplace, okay? So what we are going to do, we have a lot. We definitely have a lot to do. We are going to build the navbar. So we are starting to build the graphical interface. We have to start with the navbar. We have to build the buttons for each section. We will begin this video with the marketplace section, which is literally the front or the home page. And we will also build the portal page. In the portal page, I want to do the following. I want to have a section where users can see the NFTs that they're holding in their wallet. And with a click of a button, they can list those NFTs for sale. And once they place those NFTs for sale, they can go onto the marketplace section, or in this case, the front page, and they can see their NFTs listed. But we have a lot to do. So let's go ahead, let's jump right in. What I'm gonna do first, I am going to work on a quick whiteboard so we know exactly what we're working with, okay? There's a lot of moving pieces here, okay? So what I'm focusing on is on the smart contract that we built in the previous video. We are going to connect this in the web front end. So then we can see the interaction and we can list NFTs for sale and we can purchase NFTs that were listed for sale by someone else. And we can see that end user receiving the payout for selling their NFTs. So we can see all that, okay? So let's go ahead and let's jump right in. Okay, so this is what we're gonna be working with. We are going to build the web front end for the NFT marketplace, okay? So with that, we need to start with the navbar. And the navbar will basically, it's gonna be in the upper section of the site. And we are going to build a couple of buttons. The first button will allow us to go back into the home page. This is where the users can see the NFTs that are available for sale in the marketplace, okay? We will have another tab, or basically another section called collections, in which, so someone that wants to look at a particular collection and buy the NFT on that collection, they can go into the collection sections. Again, this is my way of breaking down the marketplace. The market will be mostly like featured NFTs, so it's gonna be more of a homepage with featured NFTs, okay? So what we can do is we can show either the newest NFTs that were minted and available for sale. We can show listing or the last NFTs advertised or announced in a particular blockchain, let's say Binance or Polygon or Ethereum. We can show that on the main homepage, right? But if you want to go into a more specific NFT collection, then you hit the collections tab and you can go there, okay? And then you'll go to that page. We're gonna be focusing heavily in my portal. So what I want to do in this design is to have a section in which the user can see the NFTs that they have on their wallet, okay? If a user logs in, hits my portal, goes to my portal, they should be able to see the NFTs that they have available in their wallet, okay? And from there, with a click of a button, they can list that for sale. So what we're going to see is basically we will have end user that basically lists for sale. The moment that user hits the relist, that NFT will be placed in the NFT marketplace and it should appear in the front page because it was recently listed, okay? We will have a certain limit amount of NFTs that can be shown in the main page, right? So after those NFTs, we cross the threshold. Let's say we are going to allow like 5 NFTs to be shown on the home page. And if there's more NFTs being listed, then those NFTs will no longer be shown in the front page. However, they can find the NFTs in the collections location. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna build that, and I'm gonna do my best, but I don't think we're gonna be able to cover this on this video. There's a lot, and I still have to build the smart contract. We have to go through the smart contract on how to create the NFT, because this is different from this. This section right here is gonna work with the relisted NFT, meaning that the end user possess the NFT, right? And they want to list for sale. Okay, so in this demonstration, what we're going to do, we're going to connect that smart contract, the smart contract that we worked on the last video. We are going to connect this to the web front end. Okay, what is the expectation? The expectation is the user hits the relist NFT and they will get the prompt from their wallet to ask for the listing fee, and sure enough, they are going to be able to list it, and we should go onto the home page and see that listed NFT. Also, in the same HTML code, for each NFT, we are going to add the price. So if anyone needs to relist the NFT for sale, they can put a price to it, right? And then that's how they can resell the NFT and someone can pay for it. So let's say someone wants to flip the NFT to make profit. They bought it at 0.05 Ethereum, they want to sell it to for 1 Ethereum, they'll relist it for sale and for a higher price. Okay, and lastly, what we're going to be working with, we are going to build a drop-down button that allows the wallet to switch mainnets. So we are going to allow the end user to hit this button and change which mainnet they want to be working with or listing their NFTs. So let's say you have a collection in the Binance Smart Chain, and then you have another collection. And when I say collection, I say NFTs from a collection. You have one NFT in collection in Binance Smart Chain, then you have another one in Polygon. Then from this particular tab, when we change or switch blockchains, I should get a refresh showing the NFTs that I have available in the particular blockchain or mainnet that I just connected to. Okay, so that's the expectation, to be a multi-chain NFT marketplace. Okay, so let's go ahead. First thing I'm going to do, build a NextJS web application. I am not going to go into the process because we already work with previous videos. You can check multiple videos that I've been working with and rolling out NextJS from scratch. What we're going to do, we are going to build the dependencies. We will install everything that is needed. We will set up hard hat, and we will build the entire structure as far as the pages, the files, the settings, etc. Okay, and we will go from there. We will deploy one marketplace smart contract. I already got an NFT that I'm just going to map it to that marketplace smart contract, and we should be able to list NFT for sale and see the art and list it and buy it and so forth. Okay, let's go and do this. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I am going to create a new Next.js. I'm going to go real quick. I am not going to explain here because this is, again, I've worked with this on many videos. You can check them out. So let's call this my marketplace. And that looks good. Okay, now it's time to install all my dependencies. And trust me, there's quite a few. You're going to see that. First, I'm going to install hard hat. Again, I'm gonna provide the instructions. By the way, don't forget to go into the project folder. Okay, this is a project folder. So what we're gonna do, I am going to install the dependencies. First one, hard hat. So definitely we need to install hard hat, and we are going to also install everything that is dependent for the hard hat environment, which is Waffle. This is to compile smart contracts, Shy, etc. Okay, another dependency. I'm gonna provide all the commands that you need, but there's quite a few, trust me. And then we are going to install ethers and a library that we need for React. Now we are going to install the styling. So I chose the graphical interface with a Next UI. It's very simple, very straightforward. I am not looking too much in becoming an expert in styling. However, that definitely does the job. I'm not a front end guy per se, but yeah, you know, that works. I just installed something called Simple Crypto.js. Oh, that's awesome. So with this, I can encrypt the private key because we need to allow the marketplace to act as a user talking to the blockchain because we need to interact. The marketplace has to interact with the blockchain, okay? The way that we do that is by importing wallet, but again, you need to hide that private key, okay? So that is a very cool tool. You're gonna see it, okay? Also, I installed Web3 model because that's how the end user is going to connect their wallet. And I am installing this. This is super cool. The MetaMask Detect Provider library allows me to know which blockchain is the user connected to on their wallet. And then once I know that, I can render the site with that particular blockchain. So let's say they are connected to the Polygon network on their MetaMask. When I load the site, I will load the site for Polygon, okay? For anything that is related to Polygon, their smart contracts, everything. So that's awesome because we are building a multi-chain, multi-blockchain marketplace that is going to interact with 3 or many other blockchains. We need to make it as simple as possible for the end user. So when the end user connects their wallet, I'm going to know what blockchain did they connect it to, or they are connected, and I'm just going to show that. Or I'm going to show NFTs available for that blockchain because I am going to start interacting with that blockchain. And that's awesome. So this is a must. Like, this makes stuff, and this makes the platform look very professional, okay? Next, I am going to work with IPFS. Okay, so I am going to install IPFS HTTP client. That it's not going to be used for this particular video, but it's going to be used when we create NFT marketplace contract, which the user will use that connection to upload the yard to IPFS. Awesome, okay? And I gotta install Web3, and I got to install some cool styling for the site. There is a tool called Canvas Confetti. Like it's more like a library. So when you hit a button, it throws like a confetti effect, and it looks cool actually. It's super cool. Okay, so we install quite a few dependencies right here. Now what we need to do, we are going to initialize hardhat, okay? So we need to build that hardhat environment, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do, hardhat will complain if I already have a README, and I do because NextJS will build a README file, so I'm just gonna delete that. Now I'm just going to invoke hardhat, npx hardhat. Now it's going to ask me creative sample projects, yes. Leave it on the root marketplace, yes, yes, done. I did that. And it's asking me if I already have this. We already installed this, so you're good to go. You don't need to deal with this. And now we should be able to work with the code. Okay, so let's go into Virtual Studio Code. And here in Virtual Studio Code, we are going to open Pages, Index. If everything goes well, by the way, let me go ahead and try to run the server. Okay, here we go. npm run dev, done, it's running. It's just the default, I bet. Okay, now I'm going to open here. Yep, it's the default. Okay, awesome. First things first, we are going to work with the front end. Let's build everything that we need to build in order for this to be changed. So the first thing I'm going to do, I am going to hit my public folder, and I want to add all my logos, okay? I'm just gonna do it in advance, so I don't need to deal with this after. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna copy all the logos that I'm using. Okay, and I got here, I'm gonna just paste it there. Boom, I got all the logos that I need. Next thing that I gotta do, I am going to work with the app.js. So I got app.js, and now we need to strip all this again, but I'm just going to discuss step by step so you're not lost, okay? First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna build the front end by invoking my styling, which in this case, it's not gonna be the default, it's going to use NextUI. So we are using NextUI for this, okay? The next thing I'm going to do, I am going to import the font that we are using for the other videos as a font. I need to create a link which I am also going to import that from the Next library. A link is basically a way for me to link a button to a page. I can actually use that, and you're gonna see it now, okay? And we are importing the objects for HTML using my Next UI library. Also have to import React. So for now, what I'm gonna do, I am going to build the web front end. And again, I am not gonna go too much in details as far as the styling. However, I am using this library. So I just want you to, as an assignment, I want you to go on Next UI. So let me show you the site. It's very cool, it's very easy. As a matter of fact, you need to take a look at this library. For Next.js and React, this is called Next UI. It's very straightforward. Like the way to build, it's very limited. That's what I can see, but they're getting there. It's very stylish and it's very simple to use. It's not difficult. Like all the stuff to build all this, just a couple of lines. It's so cool, okay? So yeah, check it out. I am not gonna go in that particular training because again, there's so much in the blockchain and Web3 side of things that if I just discuss this, we're just gonna have a full-blown series. Okay, awesome. So let's go back. So don't feel like I'm going fast. It's because I don't want to have to discuss that and just make a video very long because I'm discussing front end. Okay. So the next thing that I got to do, I am going to build the navbar, okay? So with that, I have to do one thing. I got to build the elaborate front end. So I gotta bring this guy inside here. Okay, so we got that, but that basically is the entire site. So in Next.js, when you render the component, basically the page props is basically the entire site. So all the index, everything, it's rendered using this particular file. Basically what it does, it just grabs the component, which is index and whatnot, okay? So in my case, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna wrap this guy in, and I am going to build this entire thing. I'm gonna build the first button so you can see how I did the first button, and the other ones I'm just going to do it very quick, okay? And I gotta close the container, okay? Everything that opens, everything closes, okay? So this is the entire navbar, right? We open this with a container. So let me show you how the HTML will look for this. So you open a container, and that is number one. Then inside the container, you open a row. Basically, the container is this entire thing, but then the row is this whole thing right here. And inside the row, we then build, the button. So let's say button 1 for market. Then we do another button. You see where I'm going, right? Collections, just doing it very summarized. And the third button, my portal. Okay, so you got all that. Now you see how this looks, right? So we got the container, we got the row, and we got all my buttons. You see where I'm going, right? So let's go ahead back. All right, so with that said, I got row, so I gotta close the row so at least we see the first button. Call container, so it's gonna be right here. So let's close row, and that should take care of the issue. Okay, so let's go back and look and see if the site is rendered. There we go. We're getting there. And you see NFT Market, I'm gonna show you where this is being called. If I go here, I am calling the picture right here. You can see it right here. NFT Market, and this is basically the first column. So you got row, and then you got column, column, column for each button, okay? So that's good. Now, what I want to do, I want to change the background black, okay? See where we're going. And still, there's some bleeding that is going outside of it, but we'll take care of that in a bit. So let me go to index, and I am going to take this out of here. Perfect, we no longer have that. So the first button, I have the link, which is reference to / which is basically the home page. Like this is the root in the web server. The second one, it's referencing to a collections file. So I will need to create a collections file, collections.js, and build the collections section there. Same, I have to do it with my NFT portal. So you can see it right here. right? And then each one will have a file. So I have to build a file that will link to this button right here. So in this case, I have to build a file called portal, and I have to build another file called collections, okay? So first of all, I'm gonna save and make sure that I can see the buttons. And sure enough, now I got the marketplace, I got collections, and I got my NFT portal. So if I click collections, there's nothing. Good, awesome. Do one thing. Let's build now the NFT portal, and then we will go from there. So the first thing that I gotta work with is the portal file. So I'm gonna go into pages, I'm gonna create a new file, portal.js, okay. With portal.js, I have to invoke a bunch of things. It throws me a lot of things. I'm gonna invoke first the following. I am going to copy the ethers, use state, use effect, Web3 model. Don't worry, we'll go through each one individually. Copy, use router, and I am going to bring the HTML objects from NextUI. So I'm gonna use all this, input, column, row, car, grid, text, etc. Okay, good so far, hang in there. If you're sleeping, just drink coffee. Coffee is like the fuel for developers. Okay, so now I gotta also bring Axios because we're gonna do some magic with the data pulling that we're gonna do. And we are importing the font, and sure enough, we got all that. Okay, cool. Now I want to do the following. So I need to build a configuration file, and this is very important because there's a lot of files in this particular project in a marketplace. I decided to build folders because if not, everything combined in pages will be kind of cumbersome. I don't want to have a long list of pages. It's better off to have folders to distribute the settings and the objects and so forth, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I am going to build another folder, and the folder name will be engine. Let's call this engine, which basically includes my important stuff, like stuff that is going to call in order for it to find values and so forth. Inside of engine, I am going to create a configuration file, okay? This configuration file is like the holy grail of the marketplace. Why? Because it will have all the smart contract addresses, the RPC addresses, everything regarding addresses that we need to call in the pages will be in the configuration file, okay? And this is good because you know exactly where you need to look for it if you need to modify something. You don't need to go into pages and then find wherever that variable was declared and modify it everywhere. You just modify one location and that's it, okay? So what I want to do, I did a very cool graphical ASCII like code, which is entity NFT Marketplace. And I basically did like some sort of a wiki. This belongs to the smart contract. This belongs to the marketplace smart contract. This belongs to the Resell Smart Contract. And this is another var for the existing collection address smart contract. Okay, don't worry, I'm gonna go through each one individually. Now we got the private keys for my two wallets. I have a wallet for Hardhat because we're going to be testing with Hardhat. This has to be tested with Hardhat, with a Hardhat node, so we know that everything is working. And this is where we do that cool crypto encryption. So I am going to import simple crypto. This will allow me to mask or encrypt the private key. So when I send or I request in another page, the private key is going to be encrypted. So if someone presses F12 and looks for the private key, all they're going to see is an encrypted variable. They're not going to see the private key, and they'll need to have the decryption key in order for them to find it. This file is not going to be called natively on any other page. This is only exporting the encrypted key. So what happens is the following. So you got the simple crypto, basically it's going to grab this cipher key. I made this up. Like, this is literally me made something up because this is going to be used to hash the private key, okay? And it's going to wrap it out. If I lose this cipher key, I'm not going to be able to decrypt it, okay? I just made this up. You can type whatever you want, but make sure that it's quite a few characters here, okay? And symbols and whatnot, okay? And those are my two wallets. You know, I got this wallet right here for the Ethereum. So this wallet will allow me to interact with the Ethereum, Binance, or Polygon, because, you know, the same wallet works for all. And this wallet, however, it's for hard hat. So I got HA raw. Basically, this is a wallet that's going to be working with hard hat. So if I need to invoke the hard hat wallet in my functions, and you're going to see them right in a second, I will use the hard hat raw, okay? But I am not going to use it natively because it's just going to show the private key. I am going to instead export. You see, I haven't imported this particular constant. I have exported the ciphered one. Once we run the action, or once we run the function, we will decrypt. So we are decrypting as we are running the function. So we're not going to just store this clear text. We're encrypting it, and when we run the function, it decrypts, but it already runs, so it's not like I'm going to see the private key, okay? And it's very cool, okay? So I got this. Next thing I am going to do, I am going to work with hard hat for now. Then we will test with some public testnets, okay? I am going to invoke two smart contracts, okay? I am going to invoke the marketplace resell smart contract. That's the smart contract that we discussed in the previous video. And we will also invoke the NFT collection because we need to generate the art. And if you know already, I developed an NFT puller. So we are going to be using that to generate the art, the metadata, and display that on our site. Awesome. So we got this. Now I think we should be good to work with our site. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to portal, and then we will import that information. Okay. So let's go onto portal, and I am going to import the Resell Smart Contract, and I'm going to import the collection smart contract, or the NFT smart contract itself. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are going to get the following. I'm going to show you all this. So first thing that we got to do, bear with me on this one. There's a lot. I am building the sell function. In the sell function, I got to know which user is connected. Why? Because when I render the NFT images, I am only going to show the NFT image on the tokens that the user has on their wallet. Okay, so we don't want to show all the NFTs. We only want to show the NFTs that the user is allowed to sell. How do we do this? By grabbing the user wallet and confirming with the smart contract what NFTs is that user holding. Okay, and that's how we know that the user is in possession of those NFTs. Okay, and how do we do it? We basically say connect user. So we open a ASIC function, and we'll just call the MetaMask wallet, you know, window.ethereum, Web3, and then we request the account. And what I'm going to store the value for account into get user as a use state component. Okay, so once I get that use state component, I can then call user down in the HTML code and do my comparison. If the user equals this, then show the NFTs for that particular user. Okay, and this is the magic command that we used to pull the NFTs. This is the get wallet NFTs. And by the way, I have to import mainnet. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to invoke, you know what? I am going to do this. So I'm going to create another var called mainnet that is going to call another address. Okay, so in this case, I am not going to export this. Instead, what I'm going to do, I am going to build a global var, global parameters. And we're going to close this here. I am going to say export var mainnet. I'm just going to call this mainnet, but mainnet will be whatever address I'm going to be connecting with. In this case, I'm going to connect to my local hard hat node. So in this case, I'm just going to import this, and sure enough, okay. Now I'm going to go to the portal. So I am bringing that address so that I can call this in my function right here. Okay, that's how I can call JSON provider, and I can type the RPC address. Okay, wallet, I got the wallet, I got the key. I do have the key. Where is key? So I'm going to type constant key equals configuration, and the configuration will be copy. I'll show you real quick. And it's going to be decrypt, but in this case, I'm going to decrypt the HH, cipher HH. There it goes. Okay. What is that going to do? It's going to grab the ciphered private key that I just imported and will convert that, or it will store that unencrypted into key, and then I can call this here. Okay. And that's it. Okay. Now, here's the fun part. And I think this is going to be the biggest thing that I'm going to be discussing in this video. I promise. I need to explain to you how the entire N2D pooler, the NFT pooler works, because this is how we are able to retrieve the NFT art, the NFT metadata, and display that on our site without the need of any APIs. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to show you this whole cool thing. I don't think we're going to be able to discuss, because we're going a lot of time on this training. I don't want to cram a lot of material in one video, because there's too much going on. So we need to do the following. I'm going to show you how can I natively call the blockchain and get the NFT art. Okay. So the first thing that I'm doing, I need to contact. We're going to contact NFT contract. This is the NFT smart contract, right? I'm going to contact the NFT smart contract. The first thing that I need from that smart contract is going to be the token supply. And we know that the token supply in an NFT smart contract, it's the amount of NFTs minted. Okay, so if you sold 1,000 NFTs, that means that you have a token supply of 1,000. Okay, once I get the value, now I can call the owner of token ID. Okay, because I already got the total supply, I now can do the following. I can say token supply for each in token supply. I'm just making this, summarize. This is the loop. So basically for each in token supply, I am going to get the owner of token ID. Okay. So what is this? It's basically going to count. Let's say we sold only 10 NFTs. So the token supply is 10 equals 10, right? I got to create a counter. I got to iterate over each one. So if we got 10, the loop, what it's going to do, it's going to say token ID for each in token supply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where are we going? So basically each time that it has to count, it's going to run everything below it. You see where I'm going? So now token ID, owner of token ID. Which one is the first call? 1. Okay, give me token ID 1. Who's the owner? Now I got the owner. Perfect. After I got the owner, now give me the token URI for token ID 1. Now I got the token URI for token ID 1. Okay. Once I get that, right, that will basically give me the value in IPFS CID. So it's going to give me, it's going to spit out whatever is on the metadata, or in this case, whatever has been specified in the base URI in the NFT smart contract. It's going to start with IPFS, and then we got this long CIDR, and that CIDR ends in 1.json. Okay, from 1.json, we now have to convert this to HTTPS. Okay, yeah, there's a lot going on here. HTTPS, right? And then the IPFS, IO, IPFS, and then now it's just going to append all this into the HTTPS, right? Once that's done, what it's going to do is going to call with Axios. So I'm going to use Axios to then get the image. And you see where I'm going. I'm going one by one. And once I get all that information, I can go and render the picture and grab the metadata, grab the values, and so forth. So I'm gonna go back onto the code, and I strongly recommend for you to review all this. So you can see here, this is where I do that for each. So for each, then token add +1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start calling owner of token ID URI. Now resolve the raw URI, then the URI will give me the value, which is for each value. I want you to clean and convert this to HTTPS. This is where we flip that JSON IPFS CIDR path for the metadata into HTTPS. Once I get that, I need to parse this out so I can get all the values out of it. Okay, from there, I can now start calling each value. I can call the data value for the image. I can call data for the name. Data is a value in Axios. It's an option in Axios that allows me to call a specific value, okay? And from there, I can build the image because now I got this particular path, okay? And we will create a meta object, and then inside this metadata object, I am going to store all the information that I got from that call. And I'm going to use that to push that HTTPS out with the picture and the card, with the token ID, with everything. And each one will have its own button, okay? There's a lot, okay? Don't worry, no, hang in there. So now I got that because this is a native call to the blockchain. This is not something that we're calling a third-party API. We're doing this natively on the blockchain, so times will vary. I set up a timer of like 3 seconds. Hey, before you start rendering what you got, just wait. Wait at least 3 seconds so that we give time for that to build up, and we will send the request to render into HTML. If we don't have that, it might not even render because it might start rendering even before it got the information. So we need to hold on for a second, wait for this to be rendered, and then go ahead and do so. And what we need to do, if I don't have the information yet, consider that you don't have the NFTs, and then just display this message or say, hey, you need to connect your wallet because I don't see any NFTs being populated, okay? But if I'm able to get the information, I want to show you right now, in the case that we do have NFTs and we got some output generated from this, what I'm going to do, I am going to display NFTs in wallet, right? And then I am going to allow the users to connect and get the NFTs. Let me go ahead before I start explaining what this will do. This is literally the function that is going to talk to the marketplace smart contract and allow me to relist. But I want to make sure that it's rendered, and then we'll go from there. One thing that I forgot, we need to also provide the APIs for all the smart contracts that we're going to be working with. That means that I need to extract the API for the Resell smart contract, and we also have to extract the API from the NFT collection, okay? Again, a marketplace application, I will strongly recommend to not go towards this unless you at least have deployed smart contract and interacted with NFTs. You're very comfortable, very familiar with working with NFT smart contracts before you actually go into working with something as complex as a marketplace, okay? So I just want to make that recommendation. This is quite complex, okay? So make sure that you are very familiar with interacting with Web3 dApp as far from a basic standpoint, and you have done the NFT staking. That will be a good tutorial, okay, before you go into this, because this is way more complex, okay? So now what I'm going to do, I am going to import the APIs. Again, I'm not gonna show you how to do that because that has been discussed in previous videos, and I'll strongly recommend you go and watch those, okay? But I'm going to import the API for my NFT collection and the Resell smart contract, okay? And I got those two. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the portal, right? And then we need to call those two. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to steal this liner from here, and I'm going to paste it here because it's going from the same page. However, it's not actually calling the configuration. This will be a Resell. And then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to type Resell from Resell. Awesome. And then the second API will be NFT collection. Cool. So I got that. So now we got this. Now you can see here, I'm going to be calling the NFT collection API. And when I interact with the Resell, so I can start reselling, I am going to talk to the Resell smart contract right here. And I'm still talking to both. I am calling the Resell smart contract address, and I'm calling here the Resell API. I am sending first an approval for all. And let me explain to this after I make sure that I can see the NFTs and we can play with this, because I still have to work another section just to discuss the marketplace. I just don't want to discuss this briefly because there's a lot of things going on. Okay, so I'm going to save this and let me go back. What is missing right here is the amount of NFTs that I want to display. I want to display all of them because I'm going to be filtering per wallet. But in this case, I can show all the NFTs in the collection, but I'm not gonna actually show all of them. It's only going to select the NFTs from the user that has connected their wallet, okay? So in this case, I can call total supply. And basically what it's gonna do, it's just gonna grab the entire total supply. The output in ethers will be in hex, so we have to change from hexadecimal to integer, so like decimal, okay? I should be able to work and see the NFTs. So I'm gonna wrap it up on this video. There's a lot going on. What I wanna make sure is that I see the NFTs, and sure enough, I see them. So one thing that I want to do, now I want to change my wallet into wallet number 2, and I want to see if I change the NFTs, and yes, it's working. Awesome. So yeah, the idea for this, the demonstration, is to connect the front end to the marketplace smart contract. We have done that initially. We still have to discuss how we allow the real list to be called to the smart contract and set the price for each one. I've done the initial graphical interface, and we have initially connected the smart contract. Now in the next video, I'm gonna break out the functions and we will discuss each function and what it's doing, because there's a lot. You have seen, there's a lot, but you want to have a multi-chain NFT marketplace. How to? It's not gonna be easy, but it's not gonna be impossible, okay? So in the next video, what I'm gonna do, I am going to discuss the functions one by one, so then we all understand what is happening. So far, we have initially built the marketplace a graphical interface, and we have connected ourselves to the NFT smart contract, okay? So we have done all this. We need to work with the functions. On the next video, what I'm going to do, I am going to discuss each function and how we are able to render all this information. There's a lot of moving pieces, okay? So I want to make sure that we take this one by one so you understand what each one it's doing, because I cannot just go briefly. There's too many moving pieces on this one, okay? So what I'm going to do in the next video, we are going to be discussing the release for sale. How am I able to call this per NFT, okay? And send the call to the market smart contract, okay? Once we're done with that, we will build the marketplace front end and we will test the sale of an NFT. So I'm going to place a value and we will go ahead and release for sale. We know that it's working, but I want to explain to you how each function works and how am I able to pass this value to the blockchain, okay? This is very important. And I am someone that I like to go very, very, very detailed when it comes to explaining how everything works, okay? So on the next video, I am going to work with the marketplace front end and we will build, or at least we will discuss the relist for sale functions, okay? We're done. Yes, I know, there's a lot. Marketplaces are something else. And I told you in the beginning of this series that we're not just building a mint portal. This has a lot of moving pieces, all right? That's it for this video. I hope you like what we're going through, because there's a lot, trust me, there's a lot. But stay there, you're doing great, and don't give up. Keep pushing, because this is a matter of practice. With practice, we know we got perfection, okay? We're at it. So that's it for this video. I hope you like what we're doing. It's a lot. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye.